I just realized I'm jealous of my 6-year-old. Yesterday, my son came home from school and asked if he could invite his friend over on Saturday. I said, sure, sounds fun. He ran off to text his friend and I went back to making dinner. 20 minutes later, he walks into the kitchen looking confused and says, never mind, his friend can't come. His dad said no. I asked why and my son just shrugged, said his friend's dad doesn't really give reasons. He just says no to everything. I kept chopping vegetables and said, well, maybe they have family plans this weekend. My son said no, his friend asked why, and his dad just said, because I said so. That phrase hit me like a truck, because I said so. I haven't said that to my son in 6 years. My son sat down at the kitchen table and said it's weird because whenever he asked me for something, I always explain my answer. Like when he wanted that new video game last week, and I explained we needed to wait until his birthday because we already spent our fun money on his cousin's present. Or when he asked why he couldn't have soda before bed, and I explained that the sugar and caffeine would make it hard for him to sleep, and he'd be tired at school the next day. He said his friend never gets explanations for anything. Not why he can't have sleepovers, not why he has to be in bed by 8, not why he can't join soccer. Just no. Or sometimes yes, but he never knows why either way. Then my son asked me something that made me put down the knife. He said, do all parents explain their decisions or just some of them? I turned around and looked at him. He was genuinely asking. He didn't know. He didn't know that millions of kids grow up never getting a single explanation for anything, never understanding the why behind any rule or decision, never being treated like their questions deserve answers. I told him that no, not all parents explain things. Some parents think kids should just obey without question. He looked shocked. He asked why would parents do that, and I didn't know what to say, because I grew up exactly like his friend. My parents' word was law. You didn't ask why, you didn't question, you just did what you were told, or you got punished. When I was 7, I asked my dad why I couldn't go to my friend's birthday party, and he slapped me across the face for talking back. I never asked why again. When I was 10, I asked my mom why I had to quit piano lessons when I loved them, and she screamed at me for being ungrateful, said I should be thankful they paid for lessons at all and that I was selfish for wanting more. When I was 13, I asked why I had to give up my after-school job, and my dad said if I asked one more question, I'd be grounded for a month. I spent my entire childhood walking on eggshells, never knowing which questions were safe, never understanding the rules because no one explained them, and I grew up thinking that was just normal parenting. That's what parents do. They make the rules and kids follow them, and that's it. I'm 32 now, and I still struggle to ask questions. Still feel guilty when I need clarification at work. Still freeze up when my boss asks me to explain my thinking. Still hear my dad's voice in my head saying kids don't get to ask why. But my son just assumed every kid gets treated with basic respect, gets explanations, gets to understand the world around them. He said he feels bad for his friend because it must be confusing to never know why anything happens. And he's right. It was confusing. It still is confusing. I never learned how to make decisions because I never learned the reasoning behind any decision. I just learned to obey or hide. My son learns critical thinking every single day because I explain my reasoning. He learns that rules have purposes, that no doesn't mean you're bad, it just means not right now, and here's why. He doesn't live in fear of asking the wrong question, doesn't flinch when he needs clarification, doesn't assume he did something wrong every time I say no. He just exists in this world where adults respect him enough to explain things, and he genuinely didn't know that wasn't universal. Last night, he asked if his friend's dad loves him. I said of course he does. Parents just show love differently. But I don't know if that's true anymore, because my parents said they loved me too, right before telling me I didn't deserve to know why, and my son will never understand what a gift that is.